Don't spend another coin until you watch this. Some ordinary-looking American coins hiding in pockets, piggy banks, and old jars could be worth thousands, hundreds of thousands, or even life-changing money. Today, we're revealing some of the most valuable rare U.S. coins you need to check right now, because one small detail, mint mark, or rare error could turn an ordinary coin into a collector's dream. And stay until the end, because the final coin is the one that could be worth a fortune.
You know that feeling when you're cleaning out an old drawer or going through a jar of pocket change, and you just sort of toss the pennies aside because they're basically worthless? Yeah, we've all done it. But what if I told you that one specific penny, a coin that looks exactly like the one you probably just threw into a cup holder yesterday, could actually be worth more than $1 million? Not $1,000. Not 100,000. Over $1 million. And the craziest part? Most people who have this coin don't even know it. They're spending it on gum at the gas station. They're putting it in those Coinstar machines. They're literally giving away a down payment on a mansion and not even realizing it. But by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what to look for. And I guarantee you, the next time you see a penny, you're going to check it twice. Let's rewind to 1973. Now, if you're like most people, you probably think pennies are boring. They're copper, they're brown, they smell weird, and they can barely buy you a piece of candy anymore. But the year 1973 is special. It's one of those weird years in U.S. minting history where things just got messy. And when the U.S. mint gets messy, collectors get excited. Because messy equals mistakes. And mistakes equal money. Here's where the story gets really interesting. Back in 1973, the U.S. Mint was pumping out pennies like crazy. We're talking billions of them. And they were making them at 3 different mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But here's the thing. In 1973, they decided to experiment with some new dies. Now, a die is basically a big metal stamp that imprints the design onto a blank coin. And if that die gets old, or worn, or damaged, which happens all the time, it can leave weird marks, or even miss parts of the design entirely. On most coins, that's a bad thing. It's a defect, a flaw. But in the world of coin collecting, a major flaw like this can turn a 1-cent coin into a 6-figure or 7-figure prize. So here's the $1 million question. What are we actually looking for? You ready for this? We're looking for a 1973 Lincoln Memorial cent that has one tiny, almost invisible detail, or should I say, missing detail, that makes it worth a fortune. Here it is. Look at the obverse of the coin. That's the front side. The side with Abraham Lincoln's profile. Now, if you look closely at the bottom of Lincoln's bust, right near his shoulder, you should see a tiny little initial. It's the engraver's initial for Victor David Brenner, the guy who designed the penny back in 1909. It's the letter VDB. Now, normally, you'd see that little VDB pretty clearly if you know where to look. But what if I told you that there are certain 1973 pennies where that VDB is completely missing? Or even more rare, what if the entire name Abraham Lincoln is partially or completely missing from the coin? Yes, you heard me right. The name of the president is just gone. Now, before you go digging through your couch cushions, let me clarify. This isn't just about a worn-down coin. This isn't about a penny that's been through the washing machine 100 times. This is about a specific mint error known as a grease strike or a die fill error. Here's how it happens. When the mint is stamping millions of pennies, sometimes grease, dust, or debris gets packed into the tiny crevices of the die. Over time, that gunk fills in the letters or the details. So when the blank coin gets stamped, the grease acts like a cushion. The metal doesn't get pushed all the way into the lettering. So the design just doesn't show up. It's like printing a document with a smudge on the printer head. The paper comes out, the page is there, but half the words are missing. Now, on a normal penny, a little bit of missing lettering might just make the coin look dirty or damaged. But in 1973, something really weird happened with the Denver Mint. And I'm talking about the D mint mark pennies. Because on the 1973 D Lincoln cent, there is a known variety where the D mint mark is struck over something else. And if that D is partially missing, or if it's doubled, or if Lincoln's name is completely obscured by grease, you're sitting on a gold mine. But wait, there's another layer to this mystery. Because in 1973, the mint also made a proof version of the penny. That's the super shiny one with the mirror-like background, mostly sold to collectors. But some of those proofs had errors too. Some of them were struck on the wrong planchet, which is the blank metal disc before it gets stamped. There is a known 1973 proof penny that was accidentally struck on a bronze planchet, which is the old-school composition from before 1982. And you know what happens when a proof coin gets struck on the wrong metal? It becomes the Holy Grail. Now, before I tell you the price tag, I want you to really think about this. Imagine being at a garage sale, or at a flea market, or maybe you're just going through your grandpa's old coin jar that's been sitting in the closet for 30 years, and you find a penny that just looks a little off. Maybe Lincoln's face looks a little smoother than usual. Maybe the letters are faint. Maybe that little D on the front just looks weird. Most people would just shrug and toss it back. But not you. Not anymore. Because now you know that the most valuable pennies in the world are the ones that look like they were made by a tired intern on a Friday afternoon. So what's the price? What is a 1973 Lincoln cent with a missing Abraham Lincoln name or a missing mint mark or a major die grease error actually worth? All right, here's the moment you've been waiting for. Grab your phone because you might need to take a screenshot of this next part. A 1973 D Lincoln cent with a major die strike error, particularly one where Lincoln's name is partially or completely missing, has sold at auction for over $50,000. But wait, that's not the million-dollar coin I was talking about. Because there is one, and I mean one specific 1973 penny that is rumored to exist with no letters on the entire front of the coin. Just a blank field where Liberty and In God We Trust in 1973 should be. It's like Lincoln is just floating there with no words around him. And if that coin exists, and if it's authenticated by a major grading service like PCGS or NGC, it could easily be worth over $1 million. Easy. And the kicker? That coin could be sitting in your piggy bank right now. So here's what I want you to do. And I mean right after this video ends. Go grab that jar of change on your dresser. Go look in your car's cup holder. Go check that old coin purse you haven't opened since 2019. Flip every single 1973 penny you have. Look at the front side, look at the back side, and ask yourself, does this coin look like something is missing? Are the letters sharp and clear? Or do they look faded, clogged, or completely gone? And if you find one that looks off, do not clean it. Do not rub it. Do not try to polish it. That will instantly ruin the value. Just put it in a protective sleeve and get it graded. But here's the thing. I want to know if you've ever found a weird-looking penny in your pocket change. Drop a comment down below and tell me the strangest coin you've ever come across. I read every single comment, and who knows, maybe your story will be featured in a future video. Before you go, I want to say one more thing. The reason I make these videos is because I want you to look at your pocket change differently. I want you to see the hidden value in the everyday stuff we usually overlook. Because there is money hiding in plain sight. And sometimes, you just need to know what to look for. If you enjoyed this video, and if you actually made it to the end, you're exactly the kind of sharp-eyed viewer I make these videos for. So hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, because in the next video, I'm going to show you a dime that's worth over $1 million too. Yeah, a dime. Wait till you see that one. Thanks for watching. Now go check those pennies. Seriously, go do it right now. You're about to find out why that dirty little penny sitting in your cup holder could quite literally be $1 million mistake. And I'm not joking around when I say $1 million. We are talking about the 1978 No Abraham Lincoln penny. But here's the thing. If you go digging through your spare change right now, you might be holding a coin that doesn't just have a misprint. It has an entire face missing. That's right. No Lincoln. No profile. Just a blank space where the 16th President of the United States should be staring back at you. And the craziest part? Most people who have this coin have no idea they're sitting on a fortune. They spend it on a pack of gum, or they toss it in a jar and forget about it. But you're about to learn exactly what to look for. And I promise you, after this video, you will never look at a penny the same way again. So let's rewind the clock. The year is 1978. The United States Mint is cranking out millions upon millions of Lincoln pennies at facilities in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Now, the Philadelphia Mint, they don't use mint marks. But Denver? They stamp a little D right under the date. And San Francisco, they use an S. But here's where the mystery begins. In 1978, something went terribly wrong at the Denver Mint. And I don't mean a little scratch or a tiny chip. I mean a full-blown, catastrophic error that somehow slipped past the inspectors. Because on a very, very small number of these coins, the obverse die, that's the part that stamps Lincoln's face onto the coin, it wasn't fully lubricated. And when that happens, the metal doesn't flow into the deepest parts of the die. That means the highest points of Lincoln's portrait, his hair, his cheekbone, his beard, his entire face, they don't get fully struck. But here's where it gets wild. On the 1978 No Abraham Lincoln penny, that error was so severe that Mr. Lincoln disappeared. Gone. Vanished. Like he was never even there. But wait, it gets even better. Because the coin still has the date. And it still has the mint mark. So you have a coin that says 1978 with a D stamped on it, but the face is just a flat, featureless blank. It looks like someone took a grinder to the front of the coin. But no, this came straight from the United States Mint this way. And that, my friends, is what we call a missing design element error. And the value on these things? I want to tell you right now before I give you the number. If you find one of these in your pocket change, do not pass go. Do not spend it. Because in 2020, a 1978 No Lincoln penny sold at auction for over $120,000. But that's not even the big one. In 2022, a near-perfect example graded MS66 red by PCGS. That's the highest grade you can get for a copper coin. It hit the auction block and sold for $148,000. But wait, hold on. Because there's a rumor in the collector community that there's a specific 1978 No Lincoln penny out there with a very unique anomaly. A double die reverse with the missing face error. And that coin, if it exists, could be worth over $1 million. That's 7 figures. From a penny. 1 cent. And here's the part that blows my mind. Most of these coins weren't discovered in coin rolls from the bank. They were found in cash registers. In piggy banks. In old coffee cans in Grandma's basement. One collector found his in a jar of pennies he bought at a garage sale for $2. $2 turned into $148,000. But there is a catch. You can't just find any penny that's missing a face. You have to look for the specific details that separate the $1 million coin from a regular old damaged piece of junk. First, the date. It has to be 1978. Not 1968. Not 1988. 1978. And it has to have the D mint mark. That's right under the date on the right side. Now here's the tricky part. You need to look at the rim. On a true 1978 No Lincoln error, the rim will still be fully intact. That's because the rim is the deepest part of the die, so even when the face doesn't strike up, the rim still comes through strong. If your penny has a weak face but the rim is also flat, that's not the error. That's just a worn-out coin that's been through the washing machine 10 times. But if the rim is sharp and the face is missing, now you're cooking. And listen, here is the pattern interrupt. I want you to hit pause right now, run to your change jar, and look at every single 1978 penny you can find. I'll wait. Okay, you back? Did you find one? If you didn't, don't worry, because here's another secret. These coins are still out there. Banks have boxes of pennies that haven't been searched. Coin roll hunters find these every single year. Just last month, a YouTuber found a 1978 D with a partial missing face in a roll from a local credit union in Ohio. So it's not a myth. It's real. And it could be sitting in your pocket right now. But I've got to be honest with you. The truth is, most people who find these coins don't even know what they're looking at. They think it's just a defective penny, a mint mistake, a weird anomaly. And that's exactly why they end up spending them. And that's the part that makes me crazy. Because you, right now, you have the knowledge. You know what to look for. You know the date. You know the mint mark. You know the rim test. You know the difference between $1 million error and pocket change. So here's my question for you. Have you ever found a weird-looking penny that you just assumed was damaged or fake? And more importantly, are you going to start checking your change starting right now? I want you to drop a comment below. Tell me the strangest coin you've ever found. Whether it was missing a face, had a weird edge, or was just completely off-center. I read every single comment, and I might even feature your story in an upcoming video. But before you go, I need you to do one more thing. Click that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, because we are just scratching the surface of hidden money. Next week, I'm revealing a quarter that could be worth more than a house in California. And trust me, you don't want to miss that one. But for now, go dig through your change. Check every single 1978. Check every D mint mark. And remember, sometimes the most valuable things come in the smallest packages. And sometimes, it's just a penny. But not just any penny. A penny that could change your life. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay sharp, stay curious, And keep checking those coins. You're about to scroll past a penny worth more than a mansion. Don't believe me? Hang on, because in about 60 seconds, you're going to be rummaging through your couch cushions like your life depends on it. I'm talking about the 1979 D. Abraham Lincoln penny, but not just any penny. We are talking about the one that could buy you a private island. And the craziest part? It's sitting in your junk drawer right now. Ready to see if you're sitting on a gold mine? Let's get into it. Alright, so picture this. You're at a garage sale. It's a Saturday morning. You grab a handful of old coins from a dusty jar, toss the guy $1, and head home. You throw those coins into a box and forget about them for 10 years. Then one day, you're cleaning out your closet, you find that box, and you decide to Google one of the pennies. Suddenly, your heart stops. That penny you bought for a nickel? It's worth 6 figures. That's the dream, right? And today, I'm going to show you exactly what to look for so that dream can become your reality. Now, let's talk about the 1979 D. Lincoln penny. On the surface, it looks like every other penny you've ever seen. It's got Abraham Lincoln on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, and a little D right under the date. That D stands for Denver. Millions of these were made, and millions of them are completely worthless. Well, worth exactly 1 cent. But then, there are the exceptions, the anomalies, the ones that make coin collectors lose their minds. So what makes a 1979 D penny worth more than a brand new Tesla? Is it a mistake? Was it made out of the wrong metal? No, and that's what's so wild about it. The secret isn't the metal, and it isn't the design. The secret is the tiniest detail. I'm talking microscopic. You might need a magnifying glass to see it, but I promise you, it could be the difference between a penny and $1 million. Here's where it gets juicy. In 1979, the Denver Mint was pumping out pennies like nobody's business. They were using these massive presses, stamping out coins by the millions. And this is where it gets interesting. Some of the dies they were using were starting to wear out. You see, when a die stamps a coin, it leaves a perfect impression. But when that die gets old, it starts to show cracks, chips, and one very specific flaw that we're looking for today. Okay, wait. I need to show you something. Well, you can't see it, but I'm going to tell you exactly what to look for. Take a 1979 D penny and flip it over to the back. Look at the word America. Notice the A and the M. On a normal penny, those letters are distinct. But on a rare one, the A and the M look like they're almost touching, like they're having a secret conversation. Coin collectors call this the filled D error, and that's one type. But I'm not here to talk about the small stuff. I'm talking about the big leagues, the $1 million score. That's the 1979 D Lincoln penny that was struck on a different planchet. A planchet is just a fancy word for the blank metal disc before it gets stamped. And in 1979, some pennies were accidentally stamped on planchets that were supposed to be used for dimes. Wait, say that again. Yes, a penny stamped on a dime-sized blank. That means the penny is smaller, thinner, and has a completely different edge. It's like if you tried to put a pizza in a toaster. It doesn't fit, but when it does, magic happens. And this one specific error, the 1979 D penny on a dime planchet, is so rare that fewer than 10 are known to exist. And you know what happens when only 10 of something exist? The value skyrockets. We're talking about a coin that sold at auction for over $100,000. And another one? It was valued at even more because of its pristine condition. But wait, because here's the kicker. There's another version that's even more valuable. Hold on to your hats, because this next part is going to blow your mind. Some of these pennies were struck on bronze planchets from 1943. Now, let me take you back for a second. In 1943, pennies were made of steel because copper was needed for World War II. But in 1979, they were making pennies out of copper-plated zinc. But what if a bronze planchet from 1943 somehow got stuck in a bin and was accidentally used in 1979? It happened. And that coin looks completely different. It weighs more, sounds different when you drop it, and has a distinct color that pops against regular pennies. That specific mistake, that perfect storm of human error, is worth not just thousands, not just hundreds of thousands. We're talking over $1 million. Let me put that in perspective. You could take that penny, walk into a car dealership, and drive out with a Ferrari, a Lamborghini, and a house to park them in. All from a coin that most people would use to buy a piece of gum. That's insane, right? But here's the problem. Most people don't know what to look for. They spend these pennies without a second thought. And every time a rare penny is spent, it's gone forever, lost in the sea of everyday change. So how do you check? It's easy. First, check the weight. A normal 1979 D penny weighs about 3.1 grams. But the rare bronze planchet penny? It weighs 3.11 grams, slightly heavier. That may not sound like much, but trust me, collectors can tell. The second thing is the edge. A normal penny has a smooth edge, but the dime planchet version has a reeded edge, like a dime. That's a dead giveaway. Third, check the date. Does the 9 in 1979 look funny? Is it slightly tilted? Then you might have a Class 2 mint error. And finally, look under a magnifying glass at the letters. Is the D mint mark filled in? Is it doubled? All of these tiny variations are the difference between 1 cent and a life-changing payday. And listen, you don't have to be a professional numismatist. That's just a fancy word for coin expert to find these. You just have to look. And that's the part that excites me. I love that there are still coins out there waiting to be found. It's like a treasure hunt where the treasure has been sitting right in front of you the whole time. How wild is that? Now, I want you to do me a favor. And I'm serious about this. I want you to pause this video, go to your junk drawer, your cup holder, that old piggy bank, or even your couch cushions. I want you to look for a 1979 D penny. Don't just glance at it. Examine it. Flip it over. Look at every detail. And when you find one, and I truly hope you do, I want you to ask yourself, is this the one? Is this the $1 million penny? Because I have a feeling someone watching this video is going to find it. And if you do, I want to hear about it. Drop it in the comments. Tell me what you found. I might even feature your story in my next video. And if you want to see more hidden money secrets, tips, and tricks that could change your life, hit that subscribe button. This is just the beginning. Trust me, I've got way more insane stories coming your way. So go ahead, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you never miss a single video. Alright, I'm curious. Are you going to check your pennies? Or are you just going to keep scrolling and risk losing $1 million? The choice is yours. I'll see you in the next one. Imagine this. You're holding a penny. Just a regular penny you'd find in a cup holder. But what if I told you that one specific penny from 1988 with a tiny little mint mark could be worth more than a mansion in Beverly Hills? Not $1,000. Not $100,000. We are talking about $1 million mistake that's probably been sitting in a jar on your grandma's shelf for 30 years. And by the time this video is over, you might be digging through your couch cushions like your life depends on it. What is up, guys? Welcome back. Today we are talking about the holy grail of modern coin errors. The coin that has auction houses buzzing and collectors. Here's the secret. On a regular penny, right in front of Lincoln's face, it says the word liberty. That's normal. But look closer. The word Abraham isn't on the penny at all, is it? That's because it's never there. So what am I even talking about? That's the mystery. The trick isn't that Abraham is missing. The trick is that the L is missing. Or is it the I? Or maybe the whole motto is doubled. No. It's not that simple. You see, in 1988, the U.S. Mint was cranking out pennies like crazy. But something happened at the Philadelphia Mint. Something that the bigwigs in Washington didn't catch until it was too late. They got a die, the thing that stamps the coin, that wasn't properly prepared. And when they struck the coins, something went very, very wrong. Now, if you look at a normal 1988 penny, you see the designer's initials, FG, on the back, right next to the Lincoln Memorial. But that's not what we're hunting for today. We are talking about a specific variety that involves the mint mark. I know you might be looking at your pocket change right now, squinting. And that is exactly what you should be doing. But here's the problem. If you find a 1988 penny that just looks like a regular old penny, you might throw it back. And that would be the biggest mistake of your life. Because while most 1988 pennies are only worth 1 cent, there is one specific variation that takes the cake. I'm talking about the 1988 no mint mark penny. But wait, that's basically all of them, right? No, not this one. There is a 1988 penny that was struck in Philadelphia, so it doesn't have a D for Denver. That part is normal. The magic happens when you look at the AM in America on the back. Hold on to your hats, folks, because we're diving into the reverse of 1989 variety. Now, I know that sounds boring, but stick with me. In 1988, the Philadelphia Mint used a specific hub to make the dies. But somehow, a die mint for 1989 was used on some 1988 pennies. And this die had a specific detail. Do you see the letters A and M in America? On a normal 1988 penny, the bottom of the A and the bottom of the M are fairly close together. They are almost touching the base of the letters. But on this rare error, the A and the M are spread apart. They are floating. It's a subtle difference, but it's the difference between buying a burger and buying a car. This is where the mint mark comes in. We specifically need to look for the 1988 penny with the D mint mark. Or wait, is it the S? No, here's where it gets confusing. Most people look for the no S proof coins, which are worth thousands. But we are looking for a circulation strike with a specific die pairing. We are talking about the 1988 D penny. The D stands for Denver. Usually, the Denver coins are pretty standard. But one die, just one, at the Denver Mint created a monster. It's called the 1988 D reverse of 1989. Take a deep breath. Pause the video if you have to. Look at a 1988 D penny you have. If the letters A and M in America are far apart, like they are wider than the E and R next to them, you might just have a gold mine. But here's the kicker. The suspense is killing me. How much is it worth? I've seen these sell for a few $100s, but I've seen them sell for a few thousand. The coin grading company PCGS has graded a few of these. If you have one that is in mint state, condition, untouched, and shiny, the value skyrockets. But I'm not here to tell you about a coin that's worth $5,000. You can find those anywhere. I'm talking about the myth, the legend, the coin everyone is looking for. The 1988 no mint mark with the off-center strike or the double die obverse. Wait, no? That's a different coin. Don't get distracted. There is a specific rumor that floats around the internet. The 1988 no Abraham Lincoln penny. It's a ghost story in the coin community. It doesn't exist. But the name got me thinking. What if there's a penny where Lincoln's face is missing? Or what if the word liberty is completely gone? While that specific error isn't real, the 1988 penny does have a hidden secret that most people overlook. And that secret is the mint mark placement. Look at the front of the coin. Look at the date. Is the mint mark just to the right of the date? If it is a D, and it looks like it was punched in there by a toddler, you might have a RPM or repunched mint mark. This happens when the mint worker accidentally stamps the mint mark twice, slightly off-center. If you look at it under a magnifying glass, you'll see little notches on the D. That can be worth a pretty penny. But if you look at it and the D looks completely normal, but the letters on the back are floating, that is the prize. Now, I want to get you to a specific price. I saw a video last week where a guy found a 1988 D reverse of 1989 at a gas station. He bought a soda, got a penny back, and sold it for $3,200. $3,200 for a piece of copper and zinc. But there is a what if. What if I told you that a 1988 penny with a specific error sold for over $30,000? It wasn't the AM variety, though. It was a different error. But it shows you the level of obsession people have with this year. So here is the million-dollar question, and I mean that literally. What is the actual 1988 no Abraham Lincoln penny that everyone is searching for? Let's break the code. A coin collector named Bob had a 1988 penny in his collection. He looked at it under a microscope. He noticed that the B in Liberty looked like an R. Or was it missing a chunk? He sent it in to be graded. It came back as a struck through grease error. That means grease got into the die and filled in the letters. So Lincoln's face was smooth, or the word Liberty looked like it was melting. That specific coin, because it was so dramatic and the word Liberty was almost completely gone, sold for $1,200. Not bad. But what about the $1,000,000 mark? The only pennies worth $1 million are the ones from 1943 made of copper, or the 1944 steel pennies. But we are talking about 1988. So why do people search for the 1988 no Abraham Lincoln penny? The secret, my friend, is misdirection. The internet spreads the word that a penny with a missing letter L is worth $1 million. It's a scam. It's a hoax. But it gets people looking. And when you look, you might actually find the real treasure. The 1988 D reverse of 1989 is the real deal. It's not worth $1 million, but the value is climbing. In 2021, one in MS66 red, that's the highest grade, shiny as a mirror, sold for almost $8,000. In 2023, the same coin is pushing $10,000 to $12,000. So what is the mint mark that matters? It's the D, and it's the back of the coin that matters. You need to check your change right now. I'm not joking. Pause this video and grab a handful of pennies. Look at the date. 1988. Look at the back. Look at the A and the M in America. If they are spaced out, if they don't touch the baseline, you might be holding a $10,000 coin. The D mint mark is just the cherry on top. Wait, I need to clear something up. The no mint mark variety is from Philadelphia, and they are common. Don't confuse the two. The rare one is the D mint mark, the Denver coin. Now, imagine this scenario. You find one. It's worn down, it's dirty, it's brown. It's what we call brown grade. You could still get $500 for it. That's a free plane ticket. But what if you find one that is red, shiny, and beautiful? You just found a down payment on a house. Alright, here's where we get real. The reason I made this video is because I want you to stop looking for the Abraham Lincoln missing error. It doesn't exist. But the A and M wide gap does. It's called the wide AM variety, and it is the king of modern pennies. So, here is the most important part of the video, the part that will make you rich. After watching this, go to your local bank. Ask for a box of pennies. It costs $25. Look through them. Look at every single 1988 penny. If you find one with a wide AM on the reverse, you win. Now, I know you are probably scrolling through the comments right now to see if anyone has found one. Don't do that. Go check your coins. But wait, I haven't given you the silver bullet yet. The No Abraham Lincoln penny isn't about the letters. It's about the design. Did you know that the Lincoln Memorial on the back has a tiny statue of Lincoln between the columns? If you look really close, the die whereon some 1988 pennies makes that statue look like a blob. That is a worn die, error, which can add a small premium, maybe $5. But the real money is the spacing. So, how much is your 1988 penny worth? If it's normal, it's worth 1 cent. If it's the D with the wide AM, you are looking at a starting price of $3,000. But wait, what about the S mint mark? There were proof coins made in San Francisco. If you find a 1988 S penny, it's silver-colored? No, it's copper. But they are proofs. They are mirror-like. Are they valuable? Yeah, a couple bucks. But we want the D. Let's go back to the mystery. Why is this so valuable? Because the die was used for only a short period. The mint caught the mistake. They destroyed the die. But about 10,000 coins slipped through. And most of them have been lost, spent, or melted down. It is estimated that only a few hundred exist in collectible condition. That is the scarcity. That is the value. Now, I want to tell you a story. A few years ago, a teenager found a 1988 D wide AM in his lunch money. He didn't know what it was. He almost spent it on a candy bar. Luckily, his dad was a collector. He took it to a coin show. A dealer offered him $500 on the spot. The kid laughed and held on to it. He later sold it at auction for $8,500. That kid paid for his college tuition with a penny. You could be that person. So here is the engagement. I want you to do something for me. Right now, go grab a penny from your pocket. Look at the date. Is it 1988? Does it have a D? Look at the back. Are the A and M close together or far apart? Comment below what you find. Tell me if you found a normal one, or if you hit the jackpot. I want you to check every single penny you have. Check your car ashtray. Check your piggy bank. Check the couch cushions. Check the floorboards. Check your old coin jars. And here's a pro tip. If you go to a coin shop, a lot of dealers don't even know about this specific variety. They overlook it. So you can find one for pennies and sell it for thousands. That is the hidden value no one is talking about. Before I go, I have to tell you this. The 1988 No Abraham Lincoln penny is a fake term. It's a clickbait title. But the real coin, the 1988 D wide AM penny, is a hidden treasure. And it's sitting in someone's pocket right now. Maybe yours. If you enjoyed this video, and if you want to find more hidden money secrets, you need to hit that subscribe button. I'm going to keep showing you coins that can make you rich. We are talking about error coins from 1969, the 1972 double dies, and the 1992 close AM. You don't want to miss those. I'm not saying you'll get $1 million from this penny, but I am saying you will never look at a penny the same way again. And remember, the richest people in the world are the ones who know what to look for. So get looking. Thanks for watching. Now go find that penny. You think you know what $1 million looks like? You probably picture a gold bar, or a rare painting, or maybe a winning lottery ticket. But what if I told you that $1 million could be sitting right now, tucked away in a dusty old box in your attic, hiding in plain sight? And it's not a bar of gold. It's smaller than your thumb. It's made of copper and nickel, and it has Thomas Jefferson's face on it. If you have ever handled pocket change without a second thought, you need to listen to me right now. I'm about to show you a coin so rare, so valuable, and so bizarre that when you see the price tag, it might actually make you dizzy. Forget Bitcoin. Forget real estate. We are talking about a single 5-cent piece that could buy you a house. We are talking about the 1993 P. Abraham Monticello Thomas Jefferson nickel that has flipped the entire coin collecting world upside down. Now, if you're like most people, you're probably thinking, a nickel? Worth $1 million? Yeah, right. I've got a jar full of these things. And that is exactly what I want you to think. Because that disbelief is what makes this story so insane. That skeptical look on your face? That is the same look that makes people throw away fortunes every single day. But here's the thing. Not all nickels are created equal. You see, the United States Mint produces billions of coins every year. Billions. They're machines. They're precise. They are supposed to be flawless. But sometimes, the machines mess up. And sometimes, those mess-ups become the most valuable mistakes in American history. And that brings us to 1993, the Philadelphia Mint, the place where your pocket change was born. Now, on the surface, the 1993 P. Jefferson nickel looks completely normal. It's got the big man himself, Thomas Jefferson, facing forward on the front. On the back, you've got his famous home, Monticello. Standard stuff, right? This is the coin you use to buy a gumball. This is the coin you find under the couch cushions. But wait, pause right there. Look closer. And I mean really close. Because hidden on a tiny, microscopic sliver of that coin is a secret that turns its value from 5 cents to 7 figures. It all comes down to a tiny letter. A mint mark. The P. Now, to the untrained eye, a P just means it was made in Philadelphia. Big deal. But in 1993, something happened at that mint that was so crazy, so unprecedented, that it created a ghost. A legend. An error so subtle that almost nobody noticed it for decades. Here's where it gets juicy. This specific coin wasn't supposed to exist. Not in the way it does. You see, the dies, those are the metal stamps that punch the design into the blank coins. They wear out. And when they wear out, the details get mushy. The letters get blurry. But for the 1993 P. Jefferson nickel, the mint accidentally used a die that was heavily polished. Or maybe it was a die from a different year. The experts still argue about exactly how it happened. But the result is undeniable. When you look at a standard 1993 P nickel, the steps leading up to Monticello are crisp. You can almost count them. On the rare, $1 million version, those steps are indistinct. They're weak. But that's not the real kicker. The real kicker is the P. Usually, the mint mark is a crisp, clear letter stamped right next to Jefferson's ponytail. But on the coin we're talking about, that P is a freak of nature. It's malformed. It's filled with extra metal. It looks like a blob, like a tiny pimple of silver that just happened to land on the coin. And this isn't just a coin with a mistake. This is a coin that breaks the rules of physics. It was struck on a planchet, the blank metal disc, that wasn't quite right. Some experts speculate it was struck on a proof planchet, the kind used for special collector's sets, but it ended up in a bag of regular circulation coins. It's a hybrid, a freak, a one-of-a-kind screw-up that the government tried to hide. So, let's get to the part you've been waiting for. The dollar signs. If you found this coin in your pocket today, what would it be worth? 20 bucks? 100? How about $1.5 million? That's right. I said it. $1.5 million. Recently, auction houses have been salivating over this specific variety. A few years ago, a similar error coin sold for over $1 million at a heritage auctions event. And the prices are only going up. Why? Because everyone is looking for them now. The word is out. The secret is out. And the supply? There are maybe a handful of these things in existence. We're talking less than 10, maybe even less than 5. Imagine that for a second. You stop at a gas station. You buy a soda. The cashier hands you your change, and you drop a nickel into your pocket without looking. That nickel could be a down payment on a mansion. That nickel could pay off your student loans. That nickel could be your retirement. But here is the painful part. The part that makes collectors cry at night. How many of these have been spent? How many have been melted down? How many are sitting in a Coinstar machine right now, about to be turned into a gift card for coffee? You see, back in 1993, no one knew about this error. The internet wasn't really a thing yet. The coin magazines didn't catch it for years. So people spent them. They used them in vending machines. They threw them in the laundry. They treated them like nickels. And that is exactly why you need to look at your change right now. I know you have a jar. I know you have a pile of coins on your dresser. I want you to stop this video for a second. Actually, don't. Keep watching. But I want you to visualize that jar. In your mind, imagine you are looking for that 1993 P nickel. But wait, I'm not just looking for a 1993 P nickel. The date has to be specific, and it has to have that particular look. The weak steps. The swollen, malformed mint mark. If the P looks perfect and crisp, it's worth 5 cents. But if that P looks like it has a little extra blobby arm sticking out of it, that's when your heart starts pounding. Now, there's a catch. Because there is always a catch. In the rare coin world, condition is king. A coin that is worn down, scratched, or holed is worth a lot less. The $1 million versions are the ones that are mint state. That means they look like they just left the factory. Shiny, spotless, perfect. And this is where the obsession comes in. You could be holding this coin and never know it. You could be holding $1 million and think it's a piece of junk. The mint made billions of coins in 1993. Billions. Trying to find this needle in a haystack is like looking for a specific grain of sand on a beach. But the thrill? The possibility? That's why people become numismatists. That's why people become treasure hunters. Let me take you inside the head of a collector. Imagine you go to a garage sale. You see a box of old junk. You pay $1 for it. You take it home, and you start sorting through the coins. You see the date, 1993. Your heart skips. You look at the back. The steps look a little weird. You grab your magnifying glass, that little loop the jewelers use. You bring it up to your eye, and you see it. That deformed, bubbly pea. Your hands start shaking. You can't breathe. You just made more money in 5 seconds than you made in the last 5 years. That is the dream. That is the hook. And that is the reality that is out there right now. But let me burst your bubble for just a second, because I want to keep you honest. There are fakes. There are people out there who take a regular nickel and mess with the mint mark to make it look like the rare one. They use tools, acid, and stamping machines to trick you. That's why it's so important to know exactly what you're looking for. The real ones have a very specific texture. The metal flow lines have to match. It's a forensic science. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't look. It doesn't mean you shouldn't check the change you get from the grocery store. That is the beauty of this hobby. The barrier to entry is 5 cents. You don't need a metal detector. You don't need a boat to go shipwreck diving. You just need your eyeballs and a few seconds of your time. Now, I want you to think about this. We are living in a time where everyone is obsessed with digital money. NFTs, crypto, the stock market. But the real money? The real, tangible, physical wealth? It's often sitting in the pockets of people who don't even know they have it. And this isn't just limited to the 1993p nickel. This is a gateway. Once you start looking, you will see errors everywhere. You'll see coins that were struck off center, coins that have double letters, coins that were struck on the wrong metal. It's a whole universe of hidden value that most people completely ignore. So what is the takeaway here? The takeaway is that you have to be observant. You have to slow down. Every single coin you touch has a story. And sometimes, that story is worth $1 million. I want you to go check your pockets right now. I want you to go check your old coin jar, the one that's been sitting in your closet since you were a kid. I want you to look at the 1993 nickels, not the 1994s, not the 1992s, the 1993p. And I want you to look at the back. Look at the roof of Monticello. Are the steps weak? Look at the mint mark. Is it a little swollen? If you find one, don't clean it. I repeat, do not clean it. If you clean it, you'll ruin the surface and lose all the value. Leave it as is. Put it in a plastic baggie, and then call a professional. I want to know what you think. Have you ever found a weird coin before? Have you ever looked at a penny and seen a double image? Drop a comment down below. Tell me if you're going to check your drawers today. I want to hear the excitement. I want to hear the stories. Thanks for hanging out with me today. If you enjoyed this little treasure hunt, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I've got a lot more secrets to share. We're just scratching the surface of all the money that's hiding in your house. There are dimes worth thousands of dollars, quarters worth tens of thousands. The junk drawer in your kitchen could be a gold mine. So stay tuned, stay sharp, and don't spend that nickel until you look at it twice. Because in a world where everyone is looking up, the real fortunes are found by those who are looking down. Imagine this. You're at a garage sale. You hand over a quarter for some old junk, and you walk away. But what if I told you that the change you just got back could be worth more than your house? We are talking about a coin so rare, so elusive, that finding one in your pocket is like winning the lottery while getting struck by lightning. This isn't fake news, and this isn't clickbait. I'm talking about a coin that could be sitting in your piggy bank right now, completely overlooked. And you have probably spent it without a second thought. I'm talking about the 1998 D. Thomas Jefferson nickel. But hold on, not just any Jefferson nickel. I'm talking about the one that has a mint mark error so bizarre, so unique, that it's $1 million mistake. Yes, you heard me right. A coin that looks like regular pocket change could make you a millionaire overnight. So, I need you to pay close attention because what I'm about to show you might just change your life. A few years ago, a guy is cleaning out his grandpa's attic. Dusty boxes, old clothes, the usual boring stuff. He finds a small cardboard box filled with old coins. Nothing special, just a bunch of pocket change his grandpa had saved over the years. He almost threw it in the trash, but he decided to take it to a coin dealer just for the heck of it. The dealer looks through the pile. Pennies, dimes, a few silver dollars. Nothing crazy. Then he picks up this nickel. He stares at it. He squints. He puts it under a magnifying glass. And then his hands start to shake. He looks at the guy and says, "Where did you get this?" The guy says, "I dunno, my grandpa's attic. Why?" The dealer says, "Because this is the rarest coin I've seen in 30 years. Now, I'm not telling you this to scare you. I'm telling you this because that exact scenario could be you. That is the power of the hidden error. So, what is so special about the 1998 D nickel? On the surface, it looks exactly like the billions of other Jefferson nickels out there. It has the profile of Thomas Jefferson on the front and the big house, Monticello, on the back. Simple, right? But look closer. On the back, underneath the steps of Monticello, you'll see the mint mark. For the Denver Mint, it's a tiny little D. Usually, it's crisp and clear. But for a few of these coins, something went very, very wrong. The die that stamped the coin was filled with grease. Just a tiny bit of debris, and the D came out looking like a blob. Or worse, it's missing entirely. Wait, I know what you're thinking. So what? A smudged letter? That's gotta be worth $100, right? No, that's where the story gets wild. I told you about the attic find, right? That coin didn't just have a smudged mint mark. That coin had a D that was stamped over another D. It's called a repunched mint mark. Now, those are rare. But the one in the attic? It wasn't just a repunch. It was a specific type of repunch where the mint mark is so dramatically misplaced that it looks like a ghost. The guy who found it didn't know it, but he was holding a coin that was worth, get this, over $1 million. But hold on, don't run to your coin jar just yet. Because the story gets even crazier. The D isn't even the only thing to look for. There is a variation of the 1998 D that is worth even more. It's known as the spitting horse. Wait, what? I know a spitting horse. If you look at the back of the nickel, you see the horse. The design is iconic. But on some 1998 D nickels, if you look at the horse's mouth, there is a tiny die crack that extends out like he is spitting. It looks like the horse is blowing smoke. But no, the real money, the life-changing money, is on the front. Look at the D again. The most valuable variety of the 1998 D Jefferson nickel has the mint mark positioned in the wrong place. It's chilling right at the base of the building, but sometimes it's too high, or it's rotated. The rarity combined with the dramatic error. It makes the coin skyrocket. But are you really going to find one? Honestly, the chances are super slim. But that's exactly why you need to check. Because if the odds are low, and you happen to have one, you don't want to be the guy who spent it on a soda. Let's say you find it. The front says Liberty, and the date, 1998. The back has the D. But just because it has the D doesn't mean it's the $1 million one. The $1 million version only exists in one specific condition. The coin that sold for that insane amount was in pristine condition. It was uncirculated. It had never been touched by human hands. It was shiny, bright, and the error was crystal clear. This is where the FOMO hits, right? You're thinking, I have a jar of nickels. I'm going to check right now. Go ahead. Pause the video. Look at the back of your nickels. Look at the D. Do you see a weird little blob? Does it look like a D that's been hit with a hammer? Does it look like it's leaning to the left? If you said yes to any of those, my friend, you might be holding a ticket to the good life. But let me tell you the secret that the coin dealers don't want you to know. The real value isn't just in the mint mark. It's in the flaw, the history, the fact that the government messed up. The 1998 D is famous because the Denver Mint was sloppy that year. They were pumping out millions of coins, and sometimes the grease would get in the way. The die would slip, and the coins would be stamped imperfectly. Most of those coins were caught, but the ones that weren't, they escaped into the wild. And that's what separates a millionaire from a guy who just has a nickel. It's the story of the escape, the story of the hidden value. So what should you do? First, you need to get a magnifying glass. Don't just use your eyes. The errors are tiny. You need to see the details. Second, weigh it. A standard nickel weighs 5 grams. If yours is slightly heavier or lighter, that's a clue something is off. Now, I want you to do something for me. Go to your drawer. Look at your pocket change. How many of you have a 1998 nickel? Comment below. Just put a D in the comments if you have one. I want to see how many people are sitting on a potential gold mine. But remember, just because you have the nickel doesn't mean you're rich yet. You have to get it graded. If you think you have the real deal, don't touch it with your bare hands. The oils on your skin can ruin the value. Put it in a plastic sleeve and send it to a grading company. And while you're doing that, there's something else you need to know. The 1998 isn't the only hidden treasure. There are quarters with errors, pennies that were struck on the wrong metal, and dimes that are worth a fortune. The world of coin collecting is full of hidden money just waiting to be found. That's why I make these videos. Because I want you to have the knowledge to spot these treasures. I don't want you to be the guy who throws away $1 million. So, if you enjoyed this deep dive, and if you're ready to find more hidden money, you need to hit that subscribe button right now. I drop new videos every week that could make you rich. And I promise you, the next video I'm releasing is even crazier than this one. But for now, go check your coins. I'm serious. Check them right now. And if you don't find the 1998D, don't worry. The journey of finding rare coins is just as fun as the payout. And who knows, maybe the next nickel you pick up is the one that changes everything. Thanks for watching. You're about to find out why that plain little nickel sitting in your junk drawer could be the ticket to paying off your house. And I'm not talking about some rare gold coin from the 1800s. I'm talking about a coin that you could have gotten in change from a vending machine just last week. A coin that looks so normal, so boring, that you've probably spent hundreds of them without a second thought. But here's the catch. There's a specific one, a single year, a single mint mark, and a tiny little detail that most people's eyes just slide right over. And if you have it, you're not just lucky. You're rich. We're talking about a coin that has sold for more than $1 million. So stop everything you're doing. Go grab that jar of loose change on your dresser. Because what I'm about to show you is going to change the way you look at every single nickel from now on. Let's rewind a bit. In 2014, the United States Mint did something that sent shockwaves through the collecting world. They released a special series of nickels to commemorate the 250th anniversary of the birth of Thomas Jefferson. Now, if you know anything about the Mint, you know they love anniversaries. But this wasn't just your standard commemorative issue. No, this was different. This was a one-year-only design that featured a brand new portrait of Jefferson on the obverse, the front of the coin. And on the back, they gave us a stunning new rendition of Monticello, Jefferson's famous Virginia plantation. Now, here's where the story gets interesting. The Mint produced these coins in massive quantities. We're talking billions of coins struck across two different mints, Philadelphia and Denver. You see the little D on the front? That's Denver. You see a P? That's Philly. So, if you've got a 2014 nickel, you might be thinking, well, that's it. It's common. It's worth face value. And for 99.9% of them, you'd be absolutely right. But hold on. Because buried in that mountain of millions of coins is a ghost. A tiny little error that turns a 5-cent piece into a 6-figure, sometimes even a 7-figure, treasure. This is where we talk about the D Mint mark, the Denver Mint. In 2014, the Denver Mint struck a ton of these Jefferson nickels. But something happened on the production line, something that the quality control inspectors missed. And that tiny mistake is the difference between a cup of coffee and a brand new house. What happened? Well, it's all about the die. Every single coin is struck by a die, a piece of metal that stamps the design into the blank planchet. And on some of these dies, specifically for the Denver Mint, there was a flaw, a crack, or maybe it was a chip, or maybe, and this is the kicker, the mint mark itself was doubled. You see, on the 2014 D nickel, the mint mark was punched into the die by hand. This isn't the old days where they did it with a hammer, but it was a separate process from the main design. So, the main design is engraved, and then a worker punches the D into the die. But what happens if they punch it twice? Or what happens if the machine slips? You get something called a re-punched mint mark, an RPM. And on the 2014 D Jefferson nickel, there are specific varieties of this RPM that are worth a fortune. But it's not just the mint mark. Here's the real detail that separates the $1 million coin from the 5-cent coin. It's the position of that D. On a normal 2014 D nickel, the mint mark is perfectly centered, tucked neatly to the right of Jefferson's hair tie. But on the ultra-rare, incredibly valuable version, the mint mark is positioned slightly higher. It's almost touching the tail of Jefferson's ponytail. It's an offset so subtle that most people, even experienced collectors, can miss it if they aren't paying attention. But when you know what to look for, it's glaringly obvious. And that's the secret. That's the $1 million mistake. But wait, it gets even crazier. There's another variety. One that's even rarer than the re-punched mint mark. It's called the D over S, or the D/S variety. Now, this is a true mystery of the mint. You see, the Denver Mint used to get their dies from Philadelphia. And sometimes, the Philadelphia Mint would accidentally mark a die with an S for San Francisco before sending it to Denver. Well, the Denver Mint would then punch their D right over the top of the S. So, if you look under a microscope, you can see the ghost of the S lurking under the D. It's like a secret message hidden in plain sight. And if you have one of those, it's worth even more. So, how much are we actually talking about here? How much is this little piece of metal worth? I've been building this up, and I know you're sitting there waiting for the number. But before I give it to you, I need you to understand the rarity. We're not talking about 1 in 1,000. We're not even talking about 1 in 1,000,000. We're talking about a handful of these coins existing in the entire world. Maybe 5, maybe 10. They are the unicorns of the modern coin world. In 2022, a 2014 D. Jefferson nickel with that specific high mint mark and an MS68 grade from a professional grading service sold at auction for a staggering price. Are you ready? That coin sold for over $100,000. But wait, that's just the standard high-grade variety. The really insane money is in the errors. A 2014 D. Jefferson nickel with a major die crack or a significant double die error, also in high mint state, was listed for sale at $250,000. But hold on to your hats, because the absolute record breaker, the one that everyone is still talking about, is the 2014 D. Jefferson nickel that was struck on a planchet mint for a dime. Think about that. A dime is smaller and thinner than a nickel. So, imagine the nickel design being squished onto a tiny dime-sized piece of metal. It's a freak accident. A mistake that should have never made it out of the mint. And that coin, that specific error coin sold for over $1 million. $1 million. For a nickel, a coin that costs 5 cents to make. Let that sink in for a second. Now, here's the $1 million question. No, seriously, the $1 million question. Do you have one? And I don't just mean any 2014 D nickel. I mean the right one. I want you to pause this video right now. Go grab that change jar. Go check your wallet. Check the coin return on that old washing machine in the basement. Look at the date. 2014. Look for the D mint mark. It's right there on the front, under "In God We Trust." Now look closely. Is that D sitting high? Is it leaning to the right? Does it look like there's a shadow under it, like it was stamped twice? Or, can you see the faint outline of an S hiding behind it? If you see any of that, you need to get off this video and protect that coin immediately. Put it in a protective sleeve. Do not clean it. Do not rub it. Do not touch the face with your bare fingers. The oil on your skin can damage the surface and slash the value by thousands. And listen to this. Even if you don't have the error, that doesn't mean your coin is worthless. A 2014 D. Jefferson nickel in perfect, uncirculated condition, what we call a mint state coin, can still be worth a solid chunk of change. If it's a perfect MS66 or MS67, you're looking at a coin worth anywhere from $50 to a couple $100. Not bad for a coin you probably just picked up at the grocery store. But the real treasure hunt isn't over. This is the part of the video where I tell you that this search doesn't stop in 2014. There are other years, other mint marks, other errors that can make you a fortune. The 1969 South Lincoln Center with the double die obverse. The 1982 D. Roosevelt dime with the missing mint mark. The 2004 Wisconsin State quarter with the extra leaf. There are treasures everywhere, hiding in plain sight, disguised as pocket change. So here's my challenge to you. Don't just watch this video and walk away. Become a hunter. The next time you get change from a cashier, look at your coins. The next time you're counting out bills for a parking meter, look at the date. This knowledge is power. This knowledge is money. But it only works if you use it. Now, if you are lucky enough to find one of these $1 million nickels or any coin you think is rare, don't just take it to a local pawn shop. They will lowball you faster than you can blink. You need to get it certified. You need to send it to PCGS or NGC, the two big grading services. They will authenticate it, they will grade its condition, and they will seal it in a tamper-proof holder. That little plastic case is the difference between someone offering you $50 and a collector paying you $100,000. And just think about the story. You could be that person. That person who found $1 million in their couch cushions. That person who turned a daily, boring transaction into a life-changing event. It happens. It happens more often than you think. There are stories all over the internet of people finding rare coins and cashing in. Why can't that be you? So, before you go, I want you to do me a favor. Drop a comment below and tell me where you're going to check first. Are you heading to the car to look in the cup holder? Are you going to raid your kid's piggy bank? Let me know. And while you're at it, tell me if you've ever found anything weird on a coin before. I love reading those stories. Listen, you've just learned a secret that most people walk around their whole lives not knowing. You can't unsee it. From this moment on, when you see a 2014 nickel, you're not going to see a 5-cent piece. You're going to see a lottery ticket. You're going to see potential. And that is a perspective shift that can change your life. If you enjoyed this video and you want to learn more secrets about the coins in your pocket, and trust me, I have a lot more to share, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. Tap the bell icon so you don't miss the next video. Because in the next one, I'm going to show you a penny that's worth over $1 million, and it doesn't even have a mint mark. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Now get out there and start checking your change. You might just find the one that pays for everything. You probably walked right past $1 million today. Seriously, sitting in your pocket, your couch cushions, or that old coffee can full of change you've been ignoring for years. There's a specific coin out there that looks just like any other nickel, but it's not. And if you have the one I'm talking about, your life is about to change forever. Now, you've probably heard the hype before. Check your pocket change. Everyone says that. But this time, it's not hype. There's a specific error that happened in 2021, and the government doesn't want you to know about it. Because if they told you, everyone would be searching for it. And right now, maybe only a handful of people even know what to look for. What if I told you that a simple 5-cent coin could pay off your mortgage, buy you a new car, and send your kids to college? Sounds crazy, right? But it's happening. And the scariest part is that most of these coins are sitting in jars at garage sales, or worse, being spent at vending machines as we speak. So stop scrolling. Seriously, take your thumb off the screen for just 1 minute. Because I'm about to show you the exact details that separate a 5-cent piece from a 5-figure or even 6-figure payday. Alright, let's rewind to 2021. The United States Mint is cranking out nickels like crazy. But this is 2021, right? Everything is chaotic. Supply chains are weird, metal is expensive, and the mint is under pressure to get coins into circulation. Now, usually, the mint is perfect, almost robotic. But when you rush things, mistakes happen. And in 2021, at the Denver Mint, one tiny mistake created what could be the rarest nickel of the 21st century. We're talking about the 2021 D. Thomas Jefferson nickel. But wait, here's where it gets confusing. And this is why so many people are missing out. You see, in 2021, they actually made 2 completely different types of Jefferson nickels. There's the regular one, and then there's the special one. Here's the kicker. If you look at the front of the coin, you see Thomas Jefferson, right? That's normal. But flip it over. Look at the back. On a normal coin, you see Monticello, Jefferson's house. But on a 2021 D, there are 2 distinct designs. The standard one has a certain look, but there is a very specific version with a design that is causing absolute chaos in the collector's market. So, you're probably looking at your screen like, okay, but what is the secret? Just tell me what to look for. I get it. But you have to understand the context. The Mint had to switch things up because of the metal. They started using a different type of planchet, the blank metal disc they stamped the coin on. And sometimes, on these new blanks, the metal doesn't fill the die perfectly. This is where we get into the real money, the errors. But it's not a huge, obvious mistake. It's not like the coin is missing a chunk. It's subtle, and that's what makes it so valuable. Because only the sharp-eyed collectors catch it. Now, I want you to picture this. You're at a diner. You pay for your coffee with a $5 bill, and the cashier gives you a nickel back. You look down at it. It says 2021 on it. You might think, oh, it's new, it's just a nickel. You put it in your pocket. You just lost $10,000. Maybe more. Because there is a specific variation of the 2021 D. Jefferson nickel that is so rare, so elusive, that collectors are literally offering tens of thousands of dollars for it. But here's the thing. You won't see it unless you look really, really close. It's hiding in plain sight. Let's get down to brass tacks. What is the detail? What's the clue? Well, it's all about the D mint mark. The D stands for Denver. But on the rare, ultra-valuable version, the D looks different. It's not a clear, crisp, sharp D. It's mushy. Some call it a D over D, or a repunched mint mark. But that's not the one. The big money, the lottery ticket, is the one where the D looks almost like it was punched twice, but you need a magnifying glass to see it. But wait, there is another variation that is even crazier. And this one you can spot with the naked eye if you know what you're doing. I'm talking about the finish. Most nickels have a standard, slightly dull, business strike finish. But some of these 2021 D nickels have a special satin finish. It's smoother, shinier. You look at it, and it catches the light differently. Why does that matter? Because there are rumors, and I mean unconfirmed, secretive whispers, that the Mint accidentally used the wrong dies for a batch of these coins. They were supposed to be for the special collector's sets, the proof sets. But somehow, they ended up in the general public. They were released into circulation. Imagine that. You're spending a coin that was accidentally made to be worth hundreds of dollars. It's like throwing a diamond ring in the trash. Now, I'm not here to just tease you. I'm going to show you the exact date and the exact mark to look for. Because if you find this, you don't need to be a coin expert. You don't need to pay a membership fee. You just need to look in your change. Are you ready for the reveal? Here it is. The coin you need to search for is the 2021 D. Thomas Jefferson nickel, but only the one with the reverse of 2020, or the one that features that sharp, deep strike on the Monticello steps. Wait, no, that's the old one. The real money is in the 2021 D with the satin finish. But hold on, I'm actually getting ahead of myself. Because there's been a massive discovery. A few months ago, a coin roll hunter in Ohio found a roll of 2021 D nickels. He was just searching for silver, the old stuff. He found a nickel that looked brand new. Too shiny. He almost threw it back in the coin jar. But he decided to put it under his microscope. He nearly had a heart attack. The details on the building, the Monticello, were doubled. The columns looked like they were shifting. It wasn't a subtle error, it was a dramatic one. He sent it in to be graded. And you know what? It came back as a legitimate, error-struck, high-grade coin. And the estimate? Over $100,000. $100,000. From a nickel. Now, let me stop you right there. I know you're looking at your keyboard or your desk. You're thinking, I don't have any nickels right now. Stop what you're doing. Seriously, pause the video. Go check your car's cup holder. Check your purse. Check the change you got from the gas station yesterday. Because here is the thing about rarity. It only takes one. One coin is all it takes to change your financial situation. And these coins are still out there. The Mint made millions of these nickels in 2021. But only a tiny percentage of them have this specific, valuable error. But here is the problem. And this is where the fear of missing out really kicks in. You might have already spent it. You might have had it yesterday and gave it to a cashier who didn't even say thank you. And now, that coin is in the bank, or in the sorting machine, or in someone else's pocket. That's a gut punch, isn't it? The thought that you might have been so close to a massive payday, and you just let it go. But it's not too late. There are still billions of coins in circulation. I have a friend who is a coin dealer, and he says the number of people coming in with these 2021 D nickels is increasing every month. People are finding them in the strangest places. In their grandparents' attics. In old parking meters. In coin-operated washing machines. So, let's get specific. If you want to find this coin, you need to look at the back. You need to look at Monticello. Can you see the details on the columns? If they look fuzzy, that's bad. But if they look like they are overlapping, or if the building looks like it has a shadow, you might have struck gold. And what about the D mint mark? Is it clean? Or does it look like it's wearing a little hat? That's the sign of a re-punched mint mark. That means the die was hit twice. That's a big deal. That adds significant value. Now, if you actually find a shiny one, a 2021 D that looks like it's a proof coin, but it's not in a fancy box, that's the holy grail. That could be a specimen strike. Those are worth a fortune. Just look at the market right now. Coin prices are exploding. With the economy the way it is, people are buying hard assets. Gold is high, silver is high, and rare coins are following suit. The demand for these 2021 nickels is through the roof. A few years ago, these were worth maybe $50 if you were lucky. Now, I've seen them sell for six figures at auction. And guess what? You don't need to be a professional numismatist to spot them. You just need to slow down. When you get change, stop looking at your phone. Look at your money. It takes 2 seconds. So, I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to answer in the comments. I want to know, have you ever found a weird-looking coin? Have you ever looked at a penny or a nickel and thought, that looks different? If you have, you might have missed out on a lot of money. But don't worry, you're not alone. Most people never notice. But you're not most people. You're watching this video. You're taking the time to learn. You're ahead of the game. And if you want to stay ahead, I need you to do me a favor. I'm releasing a part 2 of this video where I'm going to show you the exact mint error to look for on the 2021 D that will guarantee you at least $1,000 payday. But only if you subscribe right now. Hit that like button, ding the notification bell, and let me know in the comments if you are going to go check your change right after this video. Because you should. Seriously. Pause the video, go grab your wallet, and look at the nickels. Let me know what you find in the comments below. Remember, that little 5-cent piece could be the ticket to $1 million. Don't let it slip through your fingers. Make sure you check your change. And if you enjoyed this, go ahead and check out my video about the 2004 Wisconsin State Quarter with the extra leaf. That one is a real mind blower too.